still supports thousands of students from non-traditional backgrounds. You will learn about our journey from these past 3 months. What we learned, our delights, our challenges, and how we overcame them.
Founded in 2009, BRIDGEGOOD has fostered more than 7,000 student leaders like Rod and I, transitioning into meaningful careers throughout Northern California and beyond. BRIDGEGOOD is an immersive and inclusive 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to change the lives of diverse job seekers, specifically women of color and people with disabilities. Without the continued support of our donors and volunteers, we cannot continue to offer tuition-free programming. And to speak about the importance of these programs, please join me in welcoming our co-founder and executive director, Sean Tai.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thank you for being here. And we just wanted to say deepest gratitude to the following donors. Craig Newmark Philanthropies, round of applause, everyone. Adobe for stepping up big time. Adobe, shout out to Adobe. Google.org, Twitter, US Bank, and App Dynamics. We also wanted to say thank you to Sereno, which is actually where one of our apprentices' mom works there, and they fundraised for this as well. And that's what touches me the most, is when our apprentices recognize and value this program so much that they donate themselves. And also a special thank you to all the individual donors, the people that are donating $5, $10. It is expensive to keep Jack London Square running. And so thank you all, and we appreciate you. Teamwork makes the dream work.
As a recent graduate, I am a dyslexic designer that was introduced to BRIDGEGOOD in 2017. At the beginning of the summer, BRIDGEGOOD invited me to join them. This was a great opportunity for me to be the first step closer to my dreams in a safe environment and inclusive environment. I was introduced to inclusive accessible design, and I am excited to help the disability community with my knowledge that BRIDGEGOOD has given me.
Well, first of all, I am from an older generation. I came from a clothing and textile design background, and I worked at Levi's and Mervyn's in my past life. I then took a long pause from a career to start a family. Before BRIDGEGOOD, I was exploring several institutions trying to find my way into the graphic design and tech industry. As you can see on this slide, it was a very slippery and squiggly path. With the support of BRIDGEGOOD and its generous donors, we are cultivating the next generation of design leaders. Now I would like to introduce Yudi, our program manager, to speak a few words.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Please pay attention to these 19 talented designers who are stars and now they shine even more after completing this 3-month program. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all the apprentices' work that they have done.
Now we're excited to introduce Julie, who is sharing the impact of BRIDGEGOOD and why the UX Design Apprenticeship Program is so important to continue supporting.
Thank you so much, Elisa, for the introduction. My name is Julie Trong, and I'm a Bay Area native who recently graduated from UC Riverside. My summer with BRIDGEGOOD has given me an invaluable experience and opportunity, giving me the confidence to take on a meaningful career in UX design. I'm so excited to introduce you to BRIDGEGOOD, the 2021 cohort today, and what we have this summer. As Elisa and Rod had mentioned before, we are BRIDGEGOOD, a nonprofit community design studio inspired by and fueled to design for social good. With all the unprecedented changes that have taken place within this past year, BRIDGEGOOD has faced all odds and gone above and beyond, especially with the grand opening of our new community studio here in Oakland in Jack London Square. This new studio is a hallmark for how far BRIDGEGOOD has come and how far BRIDGEGOOD will continue to go. The old studio on the left in Chinatown, Oakland, was just under 1,200 square feet, and this year our facility has tripled in size and in impact. During a time when businesses were closing, BRIDGEGOOD decided to expand and invest in the Bay Area community with the goal of giving and inspiring hope to students and overlooked talent. And in doing so, we hope that you invest in our vision of providing equitable tech access for all. We are a forward-thinking, like-minded community that strives to design for social good and raise the voices of those within our community. Many of you may have seen the hashtag Design for Social Good and may be wondering what it means. In 2015, we coined this term to teach student designers to create products that positively impact our world while providing quality design education for students that lack access and resources. BRIDGEGOOD is thrilled that this concept is expanding across the technology sector and beyond, and influencing what it means to take action for social good. Since 2009, BRIDGEGOOD has consistently delivered on all of its programming and impact, which is exemplified by the success of our students. BRIDGEGOOD's success is defined by the success of our students, and our programs have boosted the economy by $6.4 million, leading to opportunities for the 21st century employment and economic mobility. Designing for social good is embodied through BRIDGEGOOD's important work and the heights we see it taking in the future. Our mission is to provide tech access and professional opportunity to under-resourced students of color. Our vision is that we hope to see design leaders of BRIDGEGOOD forging a path to making a global difference. We want BRIDGEGOOD to be the first place every up-and-coming designer comes to build their first portfolio. And we want BRIDGEGOOD to be the foundational stepping stone for students to jumpstart a fruitful and meaningful career. In the following slide, I'll share the ways in which BRIDGEGOOD is able to successfully execute its mission and take us closer to our vision each and every year. Since 2009, BRIDGEGOOD has provided design education for over 7,000 students, 94% of them being people of color, 60% of them women, and 86 of them or underemployed. BRIDGEGOOD makes an outreach to at least 50 schools annually, and these schools are community colleges, Cal State universities, and UCs. This has increasingly created an impact on the demographic that represents BRIDGEGOOD, furthering our mission of designing for social good. And yes, the lack of quality design education exists on all levels. 100% of your donations fund opportunities for 800 community college students annually, and funding for 20 scholarships for predominantly women of color, English as second language students, immigrants, community college students, and people with disabilities. These donations benefit students through design education, job training, and career development programs, such as our own very flagship program, the UX Design Apprenticeship. As an example of its impact, I will share my personal story on how BRIDGEGOOD changed so much of what I believe to be my linear career journey. In my final year of college, like many others, I was unsure about what I wanted to do. When I discovered my love for UX design, I quickly became overwhelmed by the information overload on the internet, as well as the exorbitant price tags of many of the boot camps. Serendipitously, a few weeks before I graduated, I found out about BRIDGEGOOD's UX design program. When I first learned about the apprenticeship, what drew me in was that they catered to students with non-traditional backgrounds. As a student transitioning from public health into UX design, I felt that BRIDGEGOOD and the apprenticeship program has helped not only me, but hundreds of other students to figure out how to navigate this saturated industry, and also how to be confident and embrace our uniqueness and diversity. To me, BRIDGEGOOD is a trusted, curated, and community-oriented group that has allowed me to grow as a student, designer, and a professional. The mission of designing for social good relates back to my personal identity and the challenges I know that many design students will continue to face in generations to come. BRIDGEGOOD's impact has not only changed the course of my career, but has also given me a new perspective on what it means to be a UX designer. BRIDGEGOOD's immersive 3-month-long UX design apprenticeship is a tuition-free opportunity where under-resourced students can gain hands-on training and real-world experiences working on a live product and with working professionals. This workforce development program is funded with 20 scholarships, which targets predominantly Black, Indigenous, and people of color Bay Area artists and designers. The program aims to put accessibility at the forefront of its curriculum and change the narrative of the tech industry's lack of accessibility and diversity. The evolution of the UX design apprenticeship has shifted and only gotten better each and every year. Every cohort has contributed to the mission of BRIDGEGOOD and adds on to its legacy in transforming the community. In its early stages, this program was initially an internship focusing on social media marketing. As time passed and user experience arrived to the tech scene, BRIDGEGOOD's ability to be flexible has been demonstrated. 2021 was a year of many firsts for BRIDGEGOOD. With the COVID-19 pandemic, BRIDGEGOOD has been able to accommodate having the first ever hybrid program and has also been able to cater to the needs of its cohort. This is also the inaugural cohort that has had the opportunity to work in the 3,000 square foot waterfront property at Jack London Square, and also the first cohort to have students who have stated their disabilities. With your continued support, the apprenticeship will grow and evolve in many ways to benefit future cohorts. Metrics and numbers matter. In BRIDGEGOOD's 2021 UX Design Apprenticeship cohort, we have completed over 2,243 hours, 40 projects, and have learned from 10 leading tech companies who have volunteered and dedicated their time to contributing their mentorship and guiding us in real-world career development. These past 3 months have been an invaluable hands-on learning experience for all 19 of us. And we are so ecstatic to share the hard work, knowledge, and skills we have gained this summer. Next up, please welcome my fellow apprentice, Daniel. Thank you for listening, and please enjoy our presentation.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Julie. Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm currently a graphic design student at Berkeley City College. And BRIDGEGOOD is all about creating opportunities for student designers and creatives. Up on this slide is my billboard from Inspire Oakland last year, and together with the UX design program and Inspire Oakland, I'm confident that I'll gain a career in design. And learning UX is an essential skill because it's the design of the future. According to LinkedIn, UX design is one of the top 5 soft skills, and it pays very well too. Despite the amount of money we make from design, it is important to design for social good and help our local communities. And throughout our UX apprenticeship, we learn from mentors from top leading tech companies. and which helped us to further our knowledge in UX design. And now let's welcome my teammate, Alex.
Thanks, Daniel. My name is Alex, and I'm a web design student at Diablo Valley College. BRIDGEGOOD brought some of the leading tech and design professionals in the world to teach us. Our first lesson was from Marcus Creel from Peralta Community College District. Marcus is a former BRIDGEGOOD apprentice graduate. He taught us about the Gestalt principles and how they deal with psychology and how it relates to design. We also learned about color theory and color harmonies. I was very excited when Jerry Fu from Etsy came and spoke to us about business profits and its importance to UX, as well as business value and success metrics. Jerry is also a former apprentice. One method of measuring success, key performance indicators, helps you to understand your progress towards your goal. It was very interesting to learn about how sketching is an important part of the UX design process. US Bank helped us to understand this idea. Sketching is always the first step before wireframing. It's important as you can use your sketch to receive feedback and quickly make sure that your changes are correct. It was a real treat. The week Salesforce came to teach us about interviews and how to compile insights from them. We learned how empathy and listening play a big role in the interview process. You have to make sure that the interviewee is comfortable. You also have to be an active listener to ensure that they know you are taking their criticism seriously. The method of taking what the interviewee said and compiling them into insights was a really interesting concept to me, and I found it to be very interesting. The most exciting concept that we learned was the design system from Adobe. A design system has all the rules for color, type, and spacing for a website or other company documents. We got to revise the design system for BRIDGEGOOD, and in the end, we ended up combining all of the aspects from all the different groups' product design systems. We also learned about the importance of UX content writing. It's important to make sure that the user is given enough context to make sure that the product has the desired outcome. Slack came and helped give us guidance on our first design sprint, and it really helped us with our other sprints. Lacework came to talk to us via Zoom about how the interview process is supposed to work. They also came in person to the studio and helped us with the research planning activity. The most personal concept that we learned about was accessibility design from Twitter. As a disabled person, it was really cool to learn about this, as me and some of the other apprentices were very vocal about our experiences with disabilities. Another important concept we learned was the intersection of product design and UX, and how they're actually very similar in certain regards. Last but not least, we learned about the growth mindset from BRIDGEGOOD, which was a really valuable piece of advice to use in the rest of our professional careers. And next is Hansel.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mentorship is central to the BRIDGEGOOD UX Design Apprenticeship. I, like many other students, graduated college firmly believing that I was ready for a job. But in reality, I was joining the 90% of college graduates who lack real-world skills necessary for tech employment. BRIDGEGOOD connected us with mentors from companies including Adobe, Cisco, Salesforce, who volunteered their time to teach us and share their career experience with us. We're now empowered with knowledge and confidence. And yes, we're one step closer. During this rare experience, I learned a concept that was foreign to me and many other apprentices. I'm talking about design systems. Take a look at your favorite web page or at any app on your phone. You'll notice that the color scheme is consistent and that the clickable elements such as buttons, thumbnails, and links all seem to work well together. A well thought out design system has the ability to help the user through their journey while they navigate the web page or the app. Let's welcome our fellow BridgeGood apprentice, Ali.
Thank you so much, Hansel, for such a great introduction. Before we move into the depths of design thinking, product design, and design systems, I'm going to take a moment just to briefly introduce myself. So hi, my name is Alessandra Vargas, but I usually go by Ali for short. I'm an incoming senior design major at UC Davis, deeply interested in product design and visual communication. I've dipped my toes into the technology world as well as the music industry at companies like Snapchat, Q&A Media, and Venice Innovation Labs, gaining really wonderful insights and unique perspectives from these experiences. As a young Nicaraguan American woman with a passion for racial justice and human rights, I also want to focus upon bringing more intersectionality into the design and tech space. During the last 11 weeks, I've joined this wonderful cohort of fellow designers and apprentices, learning so much about user experience design, what it means to be a product designer, and more importantly, how to really think like one. Design thinking was a concept that we chatted about with the wonderful team over at Salesforce. The term can mean a lot of different things, but the most overarching way to put it is as follows. Design thinking is a process that revolves around understanding a user, overcoming assumptions, and learning to question and restate problems. Another common way of defining design thinking and giving it some structure is through Stanford D School's 5 phases. These phases don't always come in the specific order, but they're incredibly helpful when you're trying to incorporate more of this way of thinking into your work. The first phase is to empathize or connect with your users or audience. The next phase is to define. What this means is to clarify the problem your users are dealing with, their needs, and any sort of initial insights you have at this point. Next is the ideation phase, where you focus on how you will go about solving the problem in the most effective manner. Following the ideation phase is the prototyping phase, where you begin to map out and determine what sort of features you will need to operate and ultimately how it will look and work. The final phase outlined here is the testing phase, where you are meant to test out solutions with your users and decide if the approach you took made sense and work to alleviate some of the issues they were experiencing. Design thinking tends to overlap quite a bit when it comes to product design and is a huge advantage when it comes to this field of work. But what exactly is product design, and what does a product designer really do on a daily basis? This was part of a greater discussion we had with some folks from Beyond. Product design is ultimately the blend of understanding user needs and wants and crafting these into a product that fits within a company's business goals. A product can be anything like an app or a website or some sort of digital feature to something physical like the design of a door handle or even a treadmill. Product designers can be in charge of all sorts of different facets of the design process, sometimes but not limited to aspects like user research and testing, information architecture, user interface design, user experience design, and more. All of this work is done to create the best product experience possible for both the users and the company behind it. But what makes a product great and what makes a product truly successful? Well, to start, all of the most well-designed and thought out products have a solid, comprehensive design system. A design system is what allows designers to create a cohesive and organized product. It is pretty much a visual design language that includes patterns and elements that are to be used throughout a product. Design systems encompass all sorts of aspects, from what typography is supposed to look like to what size and color buttons to use in different situations. These sorts of established decisions help designers move through the project in a rapid fashion rather than getting caught up in creating the design system as they go. So naturally, as we progressed through our work during the UX apprenticeship, we made our way to developing our own design system. So as you can see here, it's pretty extensive. We began our work in groups of 4 or 5, scraping the entire BRIDGEGOOD.com site for assets, sorting through them, and then taking the time to decide what made the most sense. After this group work, we collectively decided to take an all-in-one approach for our BRIDGEGOOD design system. And then now we'll take a bit of a deep dive into the system we spent so much time on this summer. So tone and voice is at the core of every company and the products they put out. We wanted to make it obvious through the writing used on BRIDGEGOOD.com that BRIDGEGOOD is inclusive, trustworthy, supportive, and empowering. These are very important values that we feel should be represented through everything we do. We also stuck close to the BRIDGEGOOD branding guidelines, keeping the original primary and secondary colors, but also providing some additional options. Moving into typography selections, we chose to continue usage of Roboto Bold, Medium, and Regular. Roboto is a neat, universal, yet simple typeface that does not draw attention away from the valuable content being hosted on BRIDGEGOOD.com. Buttons were separated into a couple of different categories. We outlined 3 different sizes for traditional buttons with specific surrounding padding, font size, and border radius. We also defined default, hover, and inactive states for the buttons. As for these icons, BRIDGEGOOD uses material icons. We defined default active and inactive states as well, changing slightly in opacity to indicate the different states. We also cleaned up the selection of resume skill icons. For partner logos, we wanted to emphasize the difference between active and inactive states. If a partner logo was linked to a site, the logo should be displayed in full color, and if not, it should be displayed in a 40% opacity gray. For BRIDGEGOOD's logos, we decided to stick with the original logos from the brand guidelines. But for any illustrated logos we found, we decided to move them into a separate decorative section. For illustrations, they must be either in an isometric or flat style. Photography must also be added with contextual information. Additionally, we have defined some images to be used throughout the site and its internal pages. We decided for BRIDGEGOOD.com to work on a 1-column grid for mobile, 2 columns for tablet view, 4 columns for desktop, and 3 columns for any gallery of images being viewed on desktop. In conclusion, having this design system completed served as a backbone for the rest of our work this summer. The system incorporates a lot of the new skills we learned from our session surrounding this topic with Adobe and was of great help as we moved into our design sprints. This is a really wonderful preview of the quality of work you can expect to see during the rest of our presentation this afternoon and the overall dedication of this cohort to the design process. Now I will hand it over to Elena to introduce our next key speaker. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ali. My name is Elena. I'm going to take over from here. So once we learn the design thinking, how do we move from the philosophy and mindset to implementing an actual design and designing a product? BRIDGEGOOD came at a critical time in my career and helped close the opportunity gap for me. I was thrilled to find the BRIDGEGOOD UX Design Apprenticeship program that was open for people of different ages, ethnicities, backgrounds, skills, and abilities. Here, I learned that there was more to UX than just thinking. There was a process and methodology called a design sprint, which is at the core of every product. And it allows us to solve problems in the most efficient way in a matter of days. During this apprenticeship, we practiced a 3-day design sprint developed by Google. And Ferdosa will tell you more about our journey. Please help me welcome Ferdosa.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ferdosa, and quick shout out to my fellow apprentice, Elisa, for creating that illustration of me up there. I'll be going over design sprints overview. Quick rundown of me. I'm a first-generation Somali American. I'm currently going into my last semester at San Jose State, studying education, but thanks to BRIDGEGOOD, I'm able to go and find my new passion for design and tech and transition from basically a non-traditional background, just like the other apprentices I've mentioned before. So quickly, a design sprint is basically a 3 to 5 day process. We chose the 3-day method, but basically it is a process using design thinking and Google design method, which is what we followed. And it allows customers and stakeholders to see products and features before fully committing and investing in these products. Throughout the industry, this method is used, but it is very versatile and comes in many different forms. But we follow the Google design method. Design sprints aim to reduce risk when bringing in a new product.
They're asking to speak up.
Okay. So the double diamond method is basically a research model that we followed. It is used in the design process to encourage divergent and convergent thinking. So the two illustrations basically explain divergent and convergent thinking. So the top one is basically divergent thinking. So it starts with one thing and then it goes to many different solutions. And then the bottom is convergent, so different solutions and then focusing in on one. And then there are 4 phases to the double diamond method, which is discover, define, develop, and deliver. So for discover and define, basically it is finding many possible solutions using divergent thinking. So this would be basically like how might we, which I'll talk about in the next slide. But it's basically a non-linear way of identifying possible solutions. And then define is basically focusing in on one solution, which is the convergent thinking method, and then closing in on one idea. So this is the how might we's. Basically, we would come up with many possible solutions on a Miro board in remote, and then we would map them all together using convergent thinking. And on the right, we have a picture of us working with Lacework, doing affinity mapping and how might we's in person. And then the last 2 phases are develop and deliver. So develop explains the ideation stage. So this is basically like solution sketches, crazy eights, and just kind of like thinking creatively to come up with many possible solutions, which is divergent thinking. And then the last is deliver. So this is like the creation of the high fidelity prototypes and mockups and the presentation of that. So that's it for the design sprint overview. And I'm going to hand this to my fellow apprentice, Juan.
All right, thank you, Farosa, for giving us the overview of the design, the most important methodology, the design sprint. I said is the most important because all the popular apps that you guys use every day were created using the design sprint. And design is all about understanding the users. And a little introduction by myself. My name is Juan, and I am an upcoming senior at UC Davis pursuing an UI design field. And personally, design sprint was one of my favorite things to learn throughout the program, but also like one of the most challenging thing. And like it is very like difficulty and like it's very hard. It's not easy. And with like the time constraint, and it really does like push you like to work like nonstop and constantly working, and the need of communicating with your team is absolutely important. And most importantly, like I learned it's okay to fail, and BRIDGEGOOD provide young creatives like us the opportunity to fail. But after each failure, you have to get back up and work and practice to get better. And now I'm gonna pass it to Megan, and she's gonna cover the most exciting part, which is the starting of our first design sprint. And do have high expectation. It's gonna be good.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan Chai, and I will be covering design sprint last. However, before covering the behind the scenes of how we approach the design sprint, I'd like to first go over a little bit about myself and how I got here to BRIDGEGOOD. So as someone who comes from a family who is not involved in any design or creative related careers, I really had no experience or no knowledge of what I was getting into when I decided to major in design in college. So it wasn't until my second year of university that I really discovered my passion when I discovered BRIDGEGOOD from a friend at UC Davis, the college at the time. And so after discovering BRIDGEGOOD, I was able to really pursue my passion of UI/UX design, and I've continued to do so ever since. And I'd like to thank everyone at BRIDGEGOOD for possible and making my dreams come true. And so as a participant of BRIDGEGOOD as an organization, I was able to participate in my very first 3-day design sprint
where we were split into 6 different groups. So the prompt for this first sprint was to redesign an existing feature or create a completely new feature on the BRIDGEGOOD.com website. So up above, you can see the 6 groups and 6 different features we were broken up to. Starting on the left, we have programs, and then we have internship and entry-level job opportunities, accessible design, donation, events, and the project team. However, we will be focusing specifically on 2 of these groups. Group 1, who was in charge of the program features, and they were made up of Julie, Lonnie, and Daniel. And Group 3, which is my group, which is made up of me, Autumn, and Roderick. So before we even dove into the design process, we had to be briefed on what a design sprint is. So we were briefed with the Google Design Sprint methodology and a PDF that was 50 pages long. And so once we were briefed with this 50-page long document, we were extremely overwhelmed by all the information we were presented with. And Group 1 in particular did not know how to start because there's so much information and so many things to cover. It's a nearly impossible task to do. How are we supposed to do this? And so Group 1 on day 1 decided to interview the whole entire day. So they spent the whole day interviewing 9 youth, 9 people total, 2 stakeholders who are Sean and Yumi, as you can see above, and 7 users who are currently BRIDGEGOOD.com users of the website. And unfortunately for them, the interviews took up the entire day, so they weren't able to accomplish as much as they wanted. However, after kind of regrouping with the group after the interviews and consolidating their ideas, they found there was a lot of hardships because BRIDGEGOOD has so many different programs, 3 to be specific. They have Inspire Oakland, they have the UX Design Apprenticeship, they also have the Ambassador Program. So trying to tackle all 3 of these things within such a short period of time will be extremely difficult. So Julie, the product lead, took initiative and decided that the group should focus specifically on the UX Design Apprenticeship Program so that they have more time and also they have insider knowledge because they are apprentices themselves. So day 2, we're going to transition to my group, which is Group 2. So for my group, we were basically on the same boat as Group 1 in that we spent the whole entirety of day 1 just interviewing people. So we had a lot of catching up to do. So as you can see above, we were working on user personas, crazy eights, storyboarding, and user journeys. And our users, and just to remind what our feature was, my group was in charge of the accessible design feature. And our users in mind were able-bodied creatives who want to learn more about the disabled community and accessible design. And so our goal was to create an empathetic experience where able-bodied creators would be able to take a glimpse of what it is like to be disabled. And so on day 3, we had to scramble for time essentially, and we had to come up with a prototype and make it interactable and make it look nice. So essentially what we came up with was 3 different disability experiences, and we focused specifically on vision disability, hearing disability, and mobility disability. And up on the screen, we just took an example for the mobility disability experience and kind of our rough prototype and first iteration of it. So takeaways and next steps. So obviously, after consolidating all of our ideas, we figured out we definitely did not have enough time and the time allocation was not sufficient. So for next sprint, we definitely wanted to allocate our time a lot better and be able to have more time to create a more viable and polished product. Additionally, for me personally, since I was a product lead for my team, I felt I could have done a better job at assigning tasks because I noticed afterward that we were all essentially working on the same things all at once when it would have been more productive and effective if we split up the tasks and worked on things more individually and then regrouped later on. As for next steps, everyone felt that their design wasn't quite done, so everyone voted to continue working on their feature and just continue in Design Sprint 2. So thank you for listening, and I'd like to give a warm welcome to Judy, a fellow apprentice.
Thanks, Megan. So hi, I'm Judy, and I come from a non-traditional design background where I studied cognitive science at UC Davis. When I was about to graduate, I found my passion and wanted to transition into a career of UX design. But I honestly thought it was too late, but BridgeGood made this dream seem possible. And for the first design sprint, our group had a lot of questions and we were confused. But we realized that time management and organization was crucial to the design process, and that's what I learned from Design Sprint 1. And did you know that this design sprint methodology was adopted to create many products like Uber and Legos, and for non-products like the Google hiring process? And with that, I'm going to pass it on to Arlen, who will talk about Design Sprint 2.
Thank you, Judy, for that wonderful trivia. Now we're going to be moving on to Design Sprint 2. But before that, I'd like to quickly introduce myself. So my name is Arlen. I am a student pursuing a degree in graphic design at Cal State East Bay. However, recently I've shifted my focus to UX design because these are just the problems that I'm excited to solve for. But since I'm graduating soon, I wasn't sure where I was going to get that experience. Then I discovered BridgeGood. A classmate had posted about last year's presentation, and once I found out about this opportunity, I just knew I had to be a part of it. And now here I am presenting for this year's presentation, and I'm so glad that it's come full circle and that I'm here presenting for you all today. So diving back into Design Sprint 2, as Megan had mentioned in her presentation, Sprint 1 is focused more on understanding the process of a sprint. And now coming into Design Sprint 2, the focus is now more looking back and making sure we're solving the right problem. For my team, this is especially true. We definitely had a lot of ideas how to solve our problem, but trying to figure out which ones to go with was a challenge. Some new challenges that we had to overcome were differentiating this sprint from Design Sprint 1, and asking ourselves if this is the right direction, as well as how to implement feedback, which is an ongoing process. Feedback is crucial. Although we had challenges to face, we were not alone and had help from our mentors. For Design Sprint 2, we had mentors from Slack and beyond, shuffling around the different groups and helping everyone on each day. Their feedback was extremely helpful as we were able to learn from professionals on ways they might handle these obstacles. From the feedback that we got from mentors, we were able to narrow down on our solutions by looking back at previous research from Design Sprint 1 to really understand the problem and who we are designing for. Having those different perspectives really helped us see our features in a new light. Because we've been working on these features for so long, it can be hard to see the viewpoint of, say, a new user. And this is where that feedback comes in. Day 1, the gallery feature. Moving into day 1, you can see the logged out view from the gallery group. This feature, the group focused on improving the project feed as well as the flow. However, they had to pause and take a step back and reevaluate their direction. After receiving feedback from their mentors, they realized they're going a completely different direction. So from looking back and understanding their problem statement, they were able to move on and focus their attention onto changing their prototype. So here's just a close-up of the gallery feature. This is the logged in view. And the gallery group changed it from project feed to gallery, which it was originally named project feed because it helped clear up some confusion. Something that we learned in this apprenticeship is that the words that you choose have an impact on the way that users view your brand, as well as the way that they use your features. The group also focused on putting artwork as opposed to portfolio pieces, since artwork is something fun for creatives and just a little bit less requirements as opposed to portfolio pieces, which have a lot of detail. In addition, they got rid of tags because people can put different tags and it might be hard for others to find your posts. And they were able to also, the commonalities in all these changes is making this page clearer for users and simplifying it, like getting rid of tags, yet keeping structure as seen as in the filter at the top. Now users don't have to guess on what tags you might be using, and artists won't miss out on users trying to view their work. Design is not a linear process. Design is a constant back and forth, and this was a huge takeaway from Design Sprint 2. Aside from polishing our prototypes, one of the most common feedback from our mentors was to look back at the problem statement and understand the problem that we're trying to solve. It's very easy to get caught up in your ideas and want to explore them, which is wonderful. However, because the design sprint is so short, we had to learn to prioritize which features we wanted to go to in our final prototype. As you can see in this diagram, design follows a process. However, you can always go back to a previous phase and keep repeating it until you get to your end goal. For day 2, this is the donation feature. So similar to the gallery group, the donate group was originally working on a feature called support. However, after receiving feedback, they decided to put their focus on the donate page, which supports BRIDGEGOOD by funding it and keeping services like this apprenticeship or the community studio free for creatives. The problem with the current donation page is that it's a bit difficult to use and it's emotionally unappealing, according to their research. What is the incentive for others to donate? The donation group had already done prior research and analysis in Design Sprint 1. However, they were stuck on the beginning of stages of research, of understanding the problem and users, that getting to the end product was a bit of a difficult task. So for Sprint 2, they decided to focus more on delivering that final product. Above, you can see 2 personas, which are fictional characters created with common traits found in user research. By reminding themselves about the users they were designing for, they are able to focus on what was really important for their users. Day 3, donation feature. So on day 3, the donate group was able to refine their prototype, which is what you see here. They also had help from mentors. The first part that we see is about the ambassadors, which was related to supporting BRIDGEGOOD. Then the second half focuses on the donation, which has text fields as opposed to big icons, which are currently on the BRIDGEGOOD website and are not as descriptive. So the payment page now is similar to what it looks like on other sites. This helps with users' familiarity and being able to use the donation page easily. Takeaways. So some takeaways from Design Sprint 2 were that since we had some experience from Design Sprint 1, this helped us gain a better understanding of the process. Each team learned a bit more about themselves as designers, on learning what their strengths were and remembering to look back at the problem that they were solving. A common theme for this sprint was refining our direction. As we create solutions, we start to go in a certain direction, but it's important to remember to look back and remind yourself of the problem you were solving and who you were solving for. Another takeaway was figuring out how to implement these the feedback in such a short amount of time. Design sprints are meant to find a solution in a short amount of time, and since these 3 days are so jam-packed, getting to that final prototype relied on each team member's skills. In time, I'm sure this will be easier in the future with more experience, and luckily this is not the last design sprint that we did. Thanks for listening. I'll be passing it on to Renee.
Thank you, Arlen, for that wonderful summary and walkthrough of our design sprint 2. Hi, everyone. I'm Renee, and okay. Thank you, Arlen, for walking us and giving us a summary of our design sprint 2. Hello, everyone. I'm Renee, and I am a third-year design and psychology student at UC Davis. And one struggle that we can all face as a creative student is the lack of guidance from mentors. So for school, they provide us all the foundational knowledge of design. However, for us, with that knowledge, we tend to steer towards the wrong direction. And without guidance, we would end up being lost or stuck. So with BRIDGEGOOD, they provide us mentors from top leading companies like Adobe, Slack, and beyond to help us during our difficult time with design sprints. These mentors volunteer their time and energy to help us apprentices to help learn and grow as designers. And I would like to especially thanks to every mentor that has helped us during our time here at BRIDGEGOOD. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here as we are today.
And now I'll be passing it to Chris, who will be talking about Design Sprint 3.
Hello. I'm going to talk about Design Sprint 3. We're almost to the finish line. Really, this is what you came for. We've put in a lot of work and we're excited to show just what all that led to and the rest of the new features we'll be introducing on BRIDGEGOOD.com. First off, thank you all for coming and joining us at this event. Thank you, BRIDGEGOOD supporters, volunteers, and mentors, and a big thank you to the BRIDGEGOOD staff and my fellow UX apprentices. First off, a little about me. My name is Christopher Cruz. I'm a veteran for peace, an illustrator with a passion for more knowledge, and a proud BRIDGEGOOD UX apprentice. And through my art and design practice, I want to shed light on important issues that are troubling our country and the world around. BRIDGEGOOD.com was made for creatives like me, posting portfolios and offering resources to a whole spectrum of artists and designers. BRIDGEGOOD.com is made by students for students. Today, I'll be going over the process and journey behind the third 2021 BRIDGEGOOD UX Apprenticeship Design Sprint. BRIDGEGOOD decided to incorporate a third design sprint this year to accommodate our apprentices and give them more hands-on experience with UX design and the design sprint process. During Design Sprint 3, we had help and mentorship from Adobe. I'd like to give a virtual round of applause to these mentors and all mentors who volunteered their time to the BRIDGEGOOD mission. To reiterate a common message during this presentation, mentorship is super important to the BRIDGEGOOD apprenticeship and creatives early in their career. Your generous help and contributions are noticed and appreciated immensely. While some groups were altered and changed, most stayed the same, and all groups opted to work on design features, including updating the welcome page, the Inspire Oakland landing page, requesting a design service, the network, our portfolio and resume features, onboarding, and finally creating a feature that allowed users, businesses to request to use our community studio here at Jack London Square. And now, onto Design Sprint 3. Where to begin? Well, I guess a good place to start is always the beginning. At the beginning of Design Sprint 3, we took some time to reflect on the challenges and the experience working on the previous sprints. We acknowledged what worked and what we could all improve upon. And with that retrospective completed, we are better prepared to handle Design Sprint 3 and the new challenges that awaited us. Some of the challenges, including getting used to working with new teams, designing for mobile, working on existing features and thinking of ways to improve upon them. But as a whole, our biggest challenge was completing the sprint and delivering a design in a much shorter amount of time. Spoiler alert, we succeeded and even learned the backhand. This presentation you are viewing right now is a testament to our apprentices' ability to deliver a quality product in a short amount of time. We apologize for any technical difficulty, but we appreciate your support immensely. And now what went well? Well, a lot. What I would say, and I'm confident I can speak for all of the BRIDGEGOOD UX apprentices, that Design Sprint 3 went super smoothly and was a much greater experience. It's an inspiring thing to see how quickly our apprentices were able to pick themselves back up after the hard work put into the Design Sprint 1 and 2 and charge immediately into the third. We had more experience, we were more confident, we were more familiar with the process and our expectations. And at that point, we were UX designers, tooled and armed with all the lessons we were provided, and having the experience of having done a design sprint already gave us a much easier time moving into the projects with a better understanding of the design process and how to move swiftly. We also benefited from working on a different feature, giving us a fresh outlook and another project to showcase on our portfolios that we'll use as we reach the end of this experience to obtain fruitful careers. Ultimately, with BRIDGEGOOD.com, we learned a new superpower in UX design, and we are proud to show you the rest of our work. So for these next slides, I'm going to show you our projects and the new features on BRIDGEGOOD.com. So on the left, we have the network. For our revised directory, we will be rebranding the directory feature to network. We wanted to make more use of the feature and make more users excited when searching for fellow creatives, organizing the page in a way that makes more sense. And on the right, we have the portfolio page. It undergone an important structural change by separating the resume tab into a bio tab, making the ability to donate to the creative more apparent, adding user-given testimonials and the ability to export the resume, including pronouns and the ability to customize your portfolio more. For these two features, on the left, we have an updated onboarding feature that was redesigned to make it easier for creatives to sign up onto BRIDGEGOOD.com, while the program's team on the right managed to migrate the Inspire Oakland information in an easier layout, as well as redesigning the welcome page. For these next two, I'd like to give them a little more attention because they're exciting to BRIDGEGOOD.com. The requested design service is an older feature on BRIDGEGOOD.com. Young creatives are always on the lookout for gigs to start their career and fill their portfolio with awesome projects. BRIDGEGOOD saw this need early on and implemented the feature into the BRIDGEGOOD site. One group's mission was to redesign this process and make it easier for businesses to request design services. Their problem statement is as follows: how can we create a successful creative marketplace for companies and students on BRIDGEGOOD.com? Well, the scope of their project was grand and relied on the design sprint process heavily. Ultimately, the vision was achieved, and we know that future users of this feature will be pleased. And designers will find work, and businesses will find new and upcoming designers to make work with. This past year, BRIDGEGOOD made the move to Jack London Square. At the celebration, the grand opening, it was an awesome event where BRIDGEGOOD board members, staff, old and new apprentices, and creatives alike got to celebrate the success and impact of the BRIDGEGOOD mission.
Yeah.
Questions asked is how to make more use of the community studio when BRIDGEGOOD isn't in Inspire Oakland or apprenticeship season. One group tackled this problem and designed a feature to make our BRIDGEGOOD community studio available to use by others by creating a request and reserve seat system at the community studio, since there currently isn't already one in place. We are very excited to introduce this to the world and make the most out of the BRIDGEGOOD community studio here at Jack London Square. These design sprints were tough. They were challenging, but they were essential and something that separates BRIDGEGOOD from formal design education and other programs. The hands-on experience was a tremendous gift to our apprentices and made them stronger designers. The experience from working on a real-world product is invaluable, especially within a society that asks job seekers for so much experience from the get-go. Many creatives lack experience and hit roadblocks early on in their career. BRIDGEGOOD, pardon the pun, bridges the gap and paves the way to design. Working with BRIDGEGOOD during this apprenticeship has been encouraging, and seeing a product go through to the end is exciting. That brings us to the next question. When do we get to see these features in place? Well, BRIDGEGOOD.com will evolve using Ruby on Rails and React and will be ready to launch Q1 2022. Now I'll hand the mic over to Autumn, another great designer here in our BRIDGEGOOD UX apprenticeship.
That was a great recap for Design Sprint 3. Thank you, Christopher. Hello, my name is Autumn. I'm a BRIDGEGOOD UX Design Apprentice and studying design at College of San Mateo. Also, I am a mom of 2 little boys. This past 3 months has been, I would say, 24 hours a day was not enough for me. I had to juggle apprenticeship and mommy duty all at the same time, so that was super challenging. But I believe this is what working moms going through every day. This program has been a valuable opportunity for me to learn the whole UX design process from beginning to the end. And I believe this, what I gained from BRIDGEGOOD will be the foundation of my design career. Now let's invite Cynthia. She's going to talk about main takeaways from our apprentices, also the impact that BRIDGEGOOD has made on us.
Thank you, Autumn. Oh. Thank you, Autumn. Howdy, everybody. My name is Cynthia Leon, and previous to or before BRIDGEGOOD, I was a marketing intern and a junior designer at the LNC marketing department, and I was just finishing up my time at LNC, and I was honestly really unsure of what I was going to do next. What were my next steps? I was lost in the sauce, honestly, and the impact that the UX program has had is huge, and it really has helped all of us decide on what our future is going to look like and make those informative decisions about our future. So it's helped us basically, it's helped us find our way out of the sauce for most of us, right? And so we're hoping that to continue helping other students and other future apprentices. So please make sure to donate at Venmo at bridgegood.com or BRIDGEGOOD. So it's really odd to think that this is our last Thursday together. It went by really fast. We're all a little sad about it, but it's exciting that we're going to be going on to the next steps. And I know that BRIDGEGOOD has had such a huge influence on all of us, and we're able to walk away with this experience, being prepared for our next steps for each of us. Now I'm going to jump into the main impacts and takeaways we all had from the program. So career development being one of those. Through the mentorship we've been able to make such much more informative decisions about our futures. And it's a lot easier to be able to ask real people and real mentors in the working environment in design and tech companies. And so in addition to that, after learning so much from these mentors and these experiences that we've had through the lessons and working with each other, we've been able to see the world differently now and develop those basically design goggles. We see the world through design, and now we see it everywhere. We've been able to really work through problems, and now when we see websites, now when we see a billboard, we're able to see more than just what meets the eye. We've been able to see those decisions that were made to create the website, create that billboard. We've been able to see the work that's been put into those products. We now can see those problems, and we can see what solutions would we come up with and how we can change and impact the world ourselves. And that's super exciting that we have that experience now, and we have that view of the world now that we can walk away from the program with. Not only have we gotten that, we've also been able to open our eyes to different experiences, different needs, and we've learned that we're not just looking to become better designers, we're looking to become empathetic designers, and we're not just walking away as empathetic designers, we're walking away as empathetic people now. With this program, we've also worked on our leadership skills, and we've been able to find ourselves and see what motivates us, see our strengths, see our weaknesses, and be able to work through those. And we've been able to really explore and grow and trust our own abilities and find our own niche. The skills we've gained will help us all no matter what direction we end up going in, whether that is tech or whether that is art or design. So opportunity would be the next. The BRIDGEGOOD UX Design Apprenticeship program has helped us all see the many opportunities that we do have in the design and the tech industry. We've been able to get this opportunity that we wouldn't have normally as students in the normal school setting. We've been pushed and in a safe place to be able to fail, and it's really nice to be able to learn from those failures and get feedback that's actually helpful that we can grow from. This has really been an excellent opportunity for us all to prepare and empower us as fresh creatives and to be able to continue our own journey through UX and design. The program has changed how we navigate through our teamwork. BRIDGEGOOD has given us all the opportunity to collaborate with many different kinds of people from a variety of backgrounds and skill sets. We've been able to really improve our collaboration skills and our leadership skills and work through the constant changing of who we're working with. So every week we're working with different people from very small groups to large groups, and we had to navigate different roles, and it was an experience that I don't think we would have gotten in school settings or really anywhere else. And it's been really fun and inspiring learning from people's strengths and weaknesses and how to adapt those to those different working styles. So the next is building real human relationships. BRIDGEGOOD has given us all the chance to be able to connect with companies and mentors, and these are things that we wouldn't have had access to before. As students, it's really hard to be able to network. We were able to take advantage of this network opportunity, and we're all really grateful for this. It's especially right now, it's been really hard to be able to network with other people and other designers. So having our BRIDGEGOOD team to reach out to and ask for any help that we need, and really relying on each other. And I know going forward, we can still rely on all of our teammates. We've really made those real lasting connections with one another, and we've built relationships with each other that going forward, I'm sure that we're going to keep strong. We're all very grateful for everyone who participated in the BRIDGEGOOD apprenticeship this year. Experience. So we've had a lot of experience pushed into the 3 months that we've had together. We've been able to be exposed to real professionals in leading tech and design companies, and it's meant so much to all of us. We gained a lot of insight from being able to ask them questions and be able to see how they work and get feedback from all of them. And we learned how to work with them and how to work through and find our own processes and how to reach our full potential as designers. We've also learned a lot of new skills and new softwares, such as Adobe XD and Miro. We've learned not from just mentors that came in, we also learned from each other. We asked each other lots and lots of questions, and we kind of bugged each other, honestly, but it was a really nice experience because we got used to asking those questions and not feeling like it wasn't okay to ask questions. We've gotten better at asking questions. So the UX program has really broadened all of our horizons.
Yes, it has. Come on.
Since day one, we've been pushed to pushed out of our comfort zones. On a weekly basis, we're presenting, and it's scary, but we've gotten better and better at it. We've been improving, and the majority of us weren't used to the fast pace at first, and the tight deadlines and having to present so often is a little scary, but we've been working through it and getting better at it. This has really expanded our abilities in public speaking and storytelling and working our work processes, and the sheer volume of just progress that we've all made is huge. We've built up our confidence as public speakers and designers, and now we are motivated and empowered to take on bigger projects and bigger challenges. So now, last but not least, I'm going to pass it on to Jayoon and Lani.
Thank you, Cynthia. That was great takeaways. Hi, my name is Jian, and I'm currently studying graphic design at Laney College. And now Lani and I will talk about the current problem of the UX design field and the impact of the BRIDGEGOOD. Yeah, as Cynthia mentioned that before, many people are looking for opportunity, and I'm also looking for opportunity from South Korea. To me, the good news is the UX design job market has been growing, and there will be greater demand in the future. A lot of companies know UX design is critical to revenue, especially in the Bay Area where BRIDGEGOOD is located. Despite the high demand in UX designers, there is a lack of diversity with only 10% of Hispanics and 8% of the Asian and only 3% of the African American. To solve this problem, BRIDGEGOOD offers the apprenticeship every year and is open to diverse students. And Lani will talk about how BRIDGEGOOD affect our community.
Hey, I'm Lani, and then speaking of diversity in our community, we have so many people of color. I think it's so important to bring that to the design field and the tech field. And speaking of community, this is a picture of a 2021 cohort. Almost done, guys. That are not here with us physically in the present. We got Dion and Allie watching over us in the clouds, watching over us. And speaking of diversity, you have so many people from different cultural backgrounds, it's different personalities. It's kind of like a slide where you have a lot of these visuals coming from different places. We have like Mongolia, Philippines, South Korea, Guatemala, Mexico. And then if you believe in tech diversity, and it's something, it's not really about us, but donating directly to us, but it's really about next generation of designers and designers after that. This is the call to action to donate. We are a nonprofit organization. We do run on fundraising and donations. So if you can donate, that's great at bridgegood.org/impact. If you're unable to donate, that's okay too. Just send us your energy. Yes. And then just for any last word from me, thank you so much to BRIDGEGOOD and to all my colleagues. And I'll pass it on to you.
Yes.
Yeah, the apprenticeship is offered every year, and this is a great chance to build your portfolio and work experience. This is tuition-free and open for everyone. All information are on the bridgegood.com. Please check our website and mark on your calendar and get an opportunity. Yeah, that is our 19 apprentice final presentation, and thank you for watching our presentation. Now I'm going to hand it over to Sean and UD.
Great, thank you so much, everyone. And like everyone has mentioned, we are a nonprofit. We've been around for 12 years, and I'm very honored and I feel blessed that we're all in this beautiful space safely. So if you do have $5, $10, $15, please donate via Venmo at BRIDGEGOOD, BRIDGE, good. And we've also had a few people donate. I think my mom's always one of the first donors. Jane Ty donated $200. Thank you, Mom. And board member Lisa and Aisha Nelson, they all donated. So please join in. Thank you so much to everyone once again. Again, we could not be here without these monetary donors. But I don't want to disqualify anyone that donated time, because time is also important. So thank you to everyone from the companies that we mentioned earlier, Salesforce, Cisco, Twitter, such great companies, such kind people, Lacework, and a lot of people are joining, spreading the word. And that's how we want to be organic, authentic, genuine, right, everyone? Okay. So before I pass it on to you, I do want to mention that those donations, what they'll go towards, a career incubator that we're developing to assist those apprentices here that might need more help. So offering more support to them to make sure they get through to get a job. Open labs, which we're going to have once a week open to keep the lights on, to get even food and transportation costs. And then of course our fundraiser, which many people on the Zoom call right now have been a part of, which is fundraising for next year. So if you can donate at Venmo at BRIDGEGOOD or bridgegood.org/donate. I just want to say one more thing. I am so proud of everyone. Like the amount of content and work week after week. I'm telling you, it wasn't easy. I think Christopher said it best. It's like, it's not easy, but we did it and we went above. So that's not our credit, that's the students' credit that they put in the work, they did it. So one more round of applause for the BRIDGEGOOD Apprentices 2021. And without further ado, I'd like to pass it on to my colleague, Yudi Pereira-Orion.
Okay, so all I'm sharing right now is to let everybody know on our Facebook live stream and everybody here on our Zoom room that the apprentices are getting their certificates today. They have been printed and they have been framed. Last year we did all digital. So we are very excited to have a physical item to give you. I know Alessandra and Shion will be picking them up next week. I would like to open it up for the mentors that are here in this Zoom room today. If you have any kind words to share, please do so. We have about 7 more minutes. So please take it away, whoever that wants to speak. Should I nominate somebody?
Is everyone there?
How about Browdy or Aspen?
Sure. You know, always, this is my second year of, I think, kind of supporting you guys and helping out with the program. And every year I'm always impressed with, you know, the students, you know, how you guys kind of teach them the real world experiences, you know, because there's one thing to learn from college, but it's another thing to learn, you know, kind of how companies, organizations tend to work. So putting them through those paces is really, really important. So the fact that you guys are giving that, you know, these apprentices those skills is highly important in kind of prepping them for, you know, their next future jobs. So well done, everybody. Thank you.
I feel like every year that I do work with BRIDGEGOOD, I'm just so impressed by how hungry for knowledge everyone is. The apprentices come and they have so many great questions and they come with this open mind and they're so exploratory. And every year I'm like, well, it can't get any better. And I swear it gets better every year. Thank you so much, you all, for like putting yourselves out there, for being open to try something totally new. I'm so grateful to work with you, to get to know you, to see your work. It's always incredible. So thank you.
One more person. Gavin, Vinci, Victor.
Sure, I can go. Thanks for just like including us in all of this. I super appreciate it. I can't wait to work with y'all in the future, and as designers. There was a moment that really stuck with me when we were a long time ago. Like I think we were introducing Miro and we were showing y'all how to use it at one point, and people started like doing things that I've never seen done in like actual real world workshops that we run. So y'all are so smart, and I can already like vouch for y'all that you're going to be doing things that are probably better than what we're doing. So just keep up that energy, and yeah, I can't wait to probably work for you one day. So thanks for including us.
Thank you.
Should we let Ryan go maybe? Ryan, I think you're a new mentor for this year, right? You want to share some words maybe?
Well, I mentored last year as well, but yeah, you know, it was really great to see the progress that was made from the times that I was working with some of you guys to the final product. As far as what was shown today, like to be able to do that in what, like two weeks or a week or so, pretty amazing. So yeah, can't wait to see you guys in the real world.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for donating too.
With this, we have concluded our student presentation. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we hope to see you come back next year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
Congrats, y'all.
Hi, everybody.